All right. Hello, health heads. Welcome and thank you for checking in to this dose of the Healthcare Uprising. I'm your producer in the back, Jeremy Carr, here with your host in the front row, Heather Pierce. So, who are we talking to today, Heather?
Today we have my friend Preston Mitchell on with us. Preston is somebody who I actually met through LinkedIn a couple of years ago when we were both searching for jobs and got connected out there. Preston is here with us to share his, multi-year struggle, multi-job loss experience in this really, really, really rough market. If you spend any time on LinkedIn, you can hear from a lot of people who have been out of work for a long time. And it's hard. And it has a lot of impacts on your mental health. And so we are going to hear Preston's story today and how he has endured a pretty difficult journey of losing a lot, but finally finding the light at the end of a really long, dark tunnel. So
There you go. And great timing for this conversation. It ties into our recent episode with Nicole Keene about the surviving the stress of the job market.
mhm.
So, let's jump into it then. Without further ado, here's our conversation with Preston Mitchell.
Hi, and welcome to the Healthcare Uprising podcast. Today we have a very special guest and friend of the pod, friend of mine, Preston Mitchell. Preston, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Heather, Jeremy. It's a pleasure meeting you as well. I was talking to both of you guys off mic about just how excited I've been to join the pod. I know this is an idea that that you've had, Heather, to bring me on for quite some time,
Quite a while.
and I'm just honored to be here, especially because you guys called me one of the big fans of your podcast, and I
Yeah.
do listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
Like literally all the time. And
Everybody
especially,
listen to Preston. He knows what he's talking about.
Guy.
well, I've transitioned to healthcare. And so, which I think meeting you at the beginning of the journey I'm going to talk about tonight,
Uh-huh.
to like literally going from meeting you, Heather, into getting landing in a healthcare position or a position at a healthcare company in 2025 has been, it's just very ironic to me. Ironic, wonderful, glorious. I'm in a reflective state, and so I think this episode is well timed with all, at least concurrently with my journey. I'm not sure how. Hopefully, it's well timed for you guys.
It is.
Oh, yeah, man. It's just the universe talking to us, is all it is.
Yeah. No, I think this is actually great timing. And like you said, we've been talking for a while about having you come on. I originally had the plans to do kind of a roundtable with multiple people to talk about their struggles and the challenges um, looking for a job in this extremely, extremely difficult job market. It's been pretty bad for several years. I would say probably going back 3 to 4 years at this point. Um, because I think it got bad before I even started looking, which is when you and I met on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a different world out there, and it's been
Two things completely changed the way the job market works in about 5 years ago, or over the last 5 years.
AI.
Yeah, COVID and AI.
Yeah,
They changed everything.
yeah. I
Everything.
think
It's amazing how fast those things have changed. The job market, literally. It's you
mhm.
have to think now about how you're going to go around a probabilistic system is the correct term I've come to find out
Oh,
from some AI people at my job. Like it's probabilistic, which is basically
probabilistic.
Probabilistic
Pro,
probabilities. It's you're dealing the AI works in probabilities,
oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
percentages and ratios.
got it. All right,
yeah, probabilistic.
okay.
Um, and essentially what that means is yeah, like what Jeremy said, it deals with probabilities. It's impossible based on the nature of AI for it to auto generate 100% facts all the
Hmm.
time. You can get lucky if you put it in enough, if you're entering enough direction for it to be in the right direction. But ultimately, it can never do what a human does. However, we all know that the workforce is always looking to cut corners, not pay us if they don't have not pay us as much as we would like to, especially if they don't have to, if we're not in a position to, negotiate those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And even if we don't have seniority enough in our career to negotiate for that senior level or above position, then, we all know companies are going to want to look for any kind of way to lowball us in some way. So AI doesn't help. That COVID definitely doesn't help.
Yeah,
And
it
changed everything. And I got I was very unfortunate at the time I started looking, because I started looking um, about 2 years into COVID, which was when the return to
Yeah,
work.
let's go back. Let's kind of
Yeah,
like take us
sure.
back to the beginning of the journey here, I think. And oh my gosh, Preston, what year was that? So you started looking for a job, you said about 2 years into COVID. So what would that be, like 2022?
Yeah,
Is that right?
2022. It was the beginning of it. Yeah, 2022. And it was
Okay.
because, yeah, I worked at a company in their marketing department, and the leadership I had, specifically the manager who directly hired me for the position, because I was a direct hire, um, brand new to this company, and I was brought in as an outsider into being an employee. Um, she ended up leaving the company several months into my role, and that left me without a manager. And keep in mind, I'm brand new. I'm still very green to the marketing world in the corporate sense, and so I'm just like, what's happening? Like, where's like I'm being pinballed across different managers on
Mm,
my team
that's the
because
worst.
I'm being pinballed on different projects that I'm not qualified for. So I was doing crunching data numbers
Oh,
specifically on a project. One of
in
the projects I
marketing?
was given,
And
it wasn't
like,
in marketing. That's the thing. It was like straight up data, and I was
okay.
having to crunch numbers and that kind of stuff, and then get yelled at
Ugh.
after the fact
You're like,
for
this is
failing.
not what I was hired for.
Yeah.
It's not what I
Uh,
was hired for it, but I also tried to do my best, sincerely.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And my best wasn't applicable with the standards of this manager. And that's just one example of the pitfalls that I ran into at that job.
Hmm.
And so I did a lot of great copywriting work with another team. I was able to latch on to another team that does copy, does content, the types of stuff that I'm more equipped for.
Hmm.
And I explained my situation to one of the leaders on that team, who was very shocked to hear about what was happening from my neck of the woods. And she fought really hard to get me transferred from that team to hers. The problem was that companies have to budget openings, that you have to prove to the company why you even have a need for that position. And Heather, I'm sure you're very familiar with that,
Oh
just
yeah.
being um,
I've been
where
on
you
both
are.
sides of that. Yes. Both as the
Yeah.
employee and the manager. So yeah.
Yeah. And so I worked at this job for it was barely under a year, but like I was so stressed out. I gained a lot of weight. I was very sedentary in that position. I mean, you're sedentary in corporate work, period. But being
Hmm.
remote during COVID, where I was unexpected to be, I went from having the most active years of my life into going full hibernation mode. And what I mean by that is like I was so depressed already behind my manager leaving, me starting at this company in an industry that I'm still new to, and I would close the windows and to block the light from coming in, because I was failing so much at the work that I was given. And anytime I would write for the company, do the things that I was hired to do. I didn't have my manager to um, basically perform liaisonship between me and the rest of the people that were not marketers, and I was on a team dominated by non-marketers,
Ugh,
which sounds a lot like a first world problem, but when you work in marketing, it's very important, in my opinion, to have
uh-huh.
people around you who
I work in marketing,
understand.
so yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
you
Yeah,
know, you know
yeah,
how important it is to have people who can vouch for you that understand the creative process, because
right.
that's essentially what you're being paid to do, is to be creative, and sometimes
Mhm.
inspiration doesn't come as soon as Joe Blow wants it. And this was the case at my job, and more so, I was in a role that without a manager, they just had no use for me. So I was laid off um, February of 2022. I got several months of severance, and
And I think
once,
that's about when you and I met, right? If I,
yeah, it's about you and I met, because this is the first mistake I made in my job hunt. I only told like 10 people, if
mhm.
that, in my personal life that I was looking for work. My best friend, a few friends in our close group, and then some other friends I have in other places. But ultimately, it wasn't a lot of people. And maybe 10 people, that sounds like a lot to most, but I'm an extrovert. So I tend to be more of an open book than not. Hence why I'm on the illustrious Healthcare Uprising tonight.
Oh yeah.
Um,
And out there on LinkedIn too, which is how you and I connected. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you used your voice.
I use my voice, and well, it took me a while to get to that point. So
I mean, you really want to tell everybody when you're looking for a job, right? Because you never know who's going to go, oh, yeah, I think I know something for you.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing. I was so embarrassed about it. I beat myself up about it. I had severance, which I was like, okay, I can kind of chill for a little bit, because I've been so stressed out about work that, okay, like I looked for jobs, but I wasn't as serious about it. Then like 2 months passes by, and I'm like, why hasn't anyone answered? Like,
Yeah.
why aren't these people answering my emails? So I'm sending out constant job applications. Finally, I told a member of my family, who was just like, well, Preston, like, I know this company who was hiring a month ago. Why didn't you say anything? Which made me feel crappy.
Yeah.
Honestly, it made me feel did not make me feel good to hear that, because my pride got the best of me. But also, when you're in situations like that, I also feel like if the roles are reversed, it's important to encourage the person. Now that I've been through not only one but two job hunts, as we'll get into tonight, two separate points of my career back to back, um, it's important to have people around you who pump you up, who imbue you with positivity, who inspire you to keep going. Um,
Yeah.
so
Being laid off is not easy. And if you haven't been laid off and you haven't been through it, like people don't understand. Like there's not a lot of empathy there. And not that I'm trying to justify anything that person said. It's just like people should take a step back and consider kind of what kind of situation you should be that you're in, right? Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and so I finally went public about it on LinkedIn. I was like, look, I've been without work for I think at that point it was 3 or 4 months that I finally went to LinkedIn about it.
Hmm.
I got flooded with comments, flooded with the support emoji that LinkedIn has,
Love
flooded with
that support
DMs,
emoji.
and it kind of gave me a new leash on or that's okay. Gave me a new like phase in my job search. It made me feel validated.
Maybe a
Um,
little confidence boost. You're like,
Little
okay, I can do
confidence
this.
boost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I started to get interviews finally at that point. There was one company that a former coworker at a different company, not the one I was at that point, but the one before that. Her father worked at a very prominent company in Texas, where I'm based, and he reached out to me about a marketing position. Now, the thing about this marketing position was that I was qualified for it. I had the credentials. I had the clips, everything, but they wanted me to take a test. At the end of the interview process, they said you need to take a test.
What kind of
So after
test? I've
two,
heard
it was
about
about
these tests,
two.
by the way. But I've never had to do one myself.
Yeah, so basically the test was you basically prepare for a scenario where you have to they give you an hour and they give you a prompt at the beginning of that hour. At the end of the hour, you have to basically create a marketing plan in order to solve that problem. And
Okay.
so I studied for that thing for
That's
like
called free work.
Sounds like a practical exam from grad school, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
well, so I literally, and this is ChatGPT, obviously. Like if it
Uh-huh.
was the AI era, I would have easily just been like, yeah, let me just go in and see what marketing plans look like and just model
Right.
after that. But I had to do research on marketing plans. I talked to several people at that company to see like what planning looks like. And all those people were non-marketers that I talked to because the marketing people wouldn't answer my messages on LinkedIn. And I had premium at that time. So I was like, like, why are y'all just looking and not responding? Another issue with job hunting. But anyways, um,
We'll
so I
talk about
took the
that.
test. Well, and so that's the thing is like I remember my power went out the day of. Like I can't make this up. My power went out. I couldn't access my computer, and so I had to literally go to this coffee shop that I frequented pretty fervently. I had to explain my situation very quickly to one of the owners. Thankfully, they were on site that day because I don't know what I would have done otherwise. But basically, they moved a bunch of people out of this like backdoor room in the back of the coffee shop. Um, Created a space just for me. They put a laptop there.
Oh.
No one was allowed to come back there like in the within like because I told them it would only take me like 90 minutes max,
Hmm.
just accounting for logging on, getting my computer working, all that jazz. So I did it, and not even a week later, I think it might have been like maybe 3 or 4 days later, I found out I didn't get the job because
Mm.
my marketing plan was not satisfactory. And I was devastated, especially because I was referred to that job
Hmm.
by my connection. Um,
And you put a lot of work into that exam, essentially.
And it's only an hour.
Yeah. That's
it's only an hour,
and
and I felt like I was
Preston,
It's not
taking a
how the real
CPA.
world works. It's not like you have an hour to put this together in real life.
I am remembering now there was a job that I actually interviewed for that like went to kind of like finalist levels, which sounds like where you were at, where I had to do something similar. It was like building a whole marketing strategy. And like in hindsight, I look back and how many times have we heard people talk about this on LinkedIn? Like in all these little, comment threads that you and I
Yeah.
have probably ended up on, the number of people that have been asked to do stuff like this. And it's like, I just built you a marketing
Yeah,
plan.
what's to keep them from
What
just
happens?
taking your idea?
What happens with it? That's why I said free work.
Yeah, you just did free work for them.
Anyway, sorry. I just had to
No,
do that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I never even looked at it like that.
I did.
Because I was so focused on just
Wow,
having a
Yeah.
job, and
this
I
is why I
probably
don't
and I
have a
probably
job.
should have, yeah, because it is free work. Like,
I
yeah.
mean, it could be, right? It really could be.
That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
Like that sounds like a scam to get people to do the work for free for them.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know,
Anyway,
you have 20
it's
people do
it's a
the same
legitimate
one, and the
company.
one you like best, you just use that, and you don't have
but
to
they're
pay
real
anybody.
companies that do it. It's not a quote unquote scam. That's the kind of the messed up part about it, though, is that
Yeah.
you went
Okay,
through it. I know lots of other
there's the
people who
first fallacy we have to destroy right now is that quote unquote real companies aren't going to scam you.
right.
All companies are scamming you. They want your money
Oh,
and they
trust
want
me,
as much of it as
I
they can
listen to
get for
great.
as little as possible in return. That's how they work. That's what they're doing.
That's what they're
Yeah.
doing. Yeah, I trust me. I listen to Rage Against the Machine. I listen to Public Enemy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you listen to Healthcare Uprising.
Yeah, that's
Between the
true.
two of those things, you know what's
Three
going
pillars
on.
of Preston, just all
Yeah.
colliding at once.
This is
Um,
when we had a friend in college and he would get really drunk. We were in college, of course, and we go to parties and he'd go, break shit. That's what we're doing. This was the late 90s, you guys. So it was
Oh, yeah.
very appropriate.
We, we didn't have to worry
oh
about
man.
social media. Yeah. We could do anything we wanted.
Sorry, I
The
totally
crazier, the better back then, actually.
just completely derailed that conversation. Preston, please continue. So you do this test, which is complete garbage, right? Like,
It's
why were
complete
you being
garbage.
asked to do these things? And then you didn't even get the job. So I
I didn't get
totally
the
feel
job.
for you, man.
Yeah,
Ugh.
and so the connection was like, "Hey, better luck next time, buddy. I know it's hard."
Yeah.
And he put in more empathy than that, but it was still just
Yeah.
like, damn, what am I gonna have to do? And at this point, like, my bills are starting to eat up at my bank account. Like, my bank account is consistently in the negatives. Like, I tried applying for unemployment, and the ways in which you're given to apply for Texas unemployment, like, no one answered the phones, no one answered my emails, so I was unable to apply, even though I was definitely eligible for that.
That's
Even
crazy.
How much do
Yeah.
they max you out at in Texas? Do they give you a decent amount? Because in Arizona,
Um,
the most you can get is $240 a week. That's the
Yep.
absolute most they'll give you.
Yeah, that's it.
You could be making $100,000 a year and get laid off legit, and the most they're going to give you on unemployment is $240 a week.
Hmm.
Yikes, dude. I mean, it's not a lot, but
Arizona's tough. Arizona's tough.
Yeah.
I believe in my state it's 60% of your previous salary. So whatever job you
Oh,
get laid on
That's
that's
not too
on the
bad.
claim is 60%.
okay.
But
Yeah, Arizona. No bueno.
It's still not enough. It's still not enough, but it's a
it's
lot better than we
still
got.
not. Yeah, it has its. I mean, I think there's still more cons than pros, but
Yeah.
and I know that because of what I'm about to say. So 5 months. So I'm 5 months into my job search. This is the summer of that year, 2022, and at the end of that summer on LinkedIn, found a company, a smaller company that was more than happy to take me. I interviewed. It was the most ideal process. Like, I answered a few questions about my marketing experience. I went to the interview. The interview was a little over an hour. It was scheduled for an hour, but I knew that it was going to be longer. And sure enough, it was, because I kind of hit it off. They liked my personality. I was toured around the office, and
Oh, this was in
not
person.
even
Okay.
this was in person. And this is at a smaller company. So the company I
Yeah.
took the test for was a big one. This
Yep.
was way smaller, and way
Okay.
smaller than I was used to. I come from I've worked for at least two Fortune 500s in
Mhm.
my very short career, as I love to put on LinkedIn, as people know who follow me there. But
Yep.
this was a different experience. At the time, that sounded tantalizing, because I'm like, oh, they'll actually look at me as a person and not a number.
Hmm.
So I get the job in less than a day after the interview. Like, literally that evening, I got the offer, with the catch of, hey, I know you put this salary expectation, but based on your experience, I can pay you this. And me just wanting a job, I was
Hmm.
like, yeah, sure. Like, why not?
Yep.
And thinking in the back of my head, okay, if I don't like this, I at least have something coming in. That's not only something coming in, but it's also within my scope of my
Hmm.
career. It's on the journey that I decided to undergo as a
And it's better than
marketer,
being
And
unemployed for months and months and months on end, right?
what
which is
percent
what
difference was
happened.
it?
Yeah.
How
I'm
much
sorry.
difference? How much of a difference was it between what you were asking for and what they offered you? Was it
Uh,
significant?
it was pretty significant, yeah.
Yeah.
Because what happened was, I started all the paychecks I had went straight to my bills, and
Hmm.
in order to make rent, I would sometimes have to, like, pay rent, like, um, on the third day, like, literally almost when it was due, like, or 3 days past due, right before you get um,
The
the
notice on your
eviction
door. Yeah.
notice. Yeah, and I'll be waiting for my paycheck to come in, and I talked to a few people about doing stuff on the side to kind of fill in the cracks of that, but one person actually took me up on working for them, but they never gave me an invoice, never gave me an official scope of my work. They just kind of were like, "Hey, go into my website and just kind of do stuff."
Oh, like just like
So it
side
left me
work
in
kind
there.
of. Yeah, like little
Yeah, it
side
left me
gig.
in. It left me in that space to do work for hours that I wasn't getting paid for,
Mm.
and the communication was very rocky with that. So I tried to do side work while I was in that job, still struggling,
Hmm.
because the management was just so horrendous.
Oh,
I'm not sure who from that company is watching, but if you are, I'm more than willing to die on a hill, like, leave when you can. I'm serious.
It was that
The
bad.
the marketing department there was just a lot of, yeah, it was that bad. You get belittled by your leadership. You'll slave on projects for hours on end, only for someone else to be chosen to do the work, quote unquote, better than you did in less time.
Mm.
They don't have space to teach you anything aside from you reading a lot of very dry documents. Because this was very niche marketing I was in. And again, you can go to my LinkedIn page, see see what place I'm talking about. For legal reasons, I
It'll be in the
can't.
show notes.
You can figure it out.
Well, for
Right.
legal reasons, I don't think I can write a Glassdoor review,
Right.
unfortunately. But
Uh, no
yeah, so
Glassdoor. Jeremy, that's a website for companies. You can base it's like leaving Google reviews for a business, like or Yelp, but it's for your
Yep, for business,
it's that's for companies
but
that
it's
you've
like
worked for.
as an employee.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
but if you write a negative Glassdoor review, it can, not always, but it can have legal implications. So that's
Oh,
why,
sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
Nobody wants to get sued, man.
Nuh-uh.
No.
No.
But so I was eventually I was laid off from this position after, and I worked there for over a year. So it was,
Mm.
my time was more abundant than it was in my previous role, but my third attempt in a row at a marketing career just was very, very defunct, clearly, and very depleting. I gained more weight at that job. I've actually, it's honestly wild for me to look at pictures from that year, from 2023 to 2024, um, and be like, wow, like I was really stress eating among other things. So, Heather, you and I have met during that in between those roles, like, and
Yeah, I
I'm
think so.
maybe for
Yep.
skipping over that, but we kind of connected because I was looking for people in marketing. I think you might have shared a connection. I think you might have shared like a connection of a connection. So it was like a third, kind of like a third connection thing on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. So you came up, and what caught my eye with your profile wasn't just your years of marketing experience, not just in, you were also out of open to work, like you had the banner on your
Oh yeah.
LinkedIn profile, but it was the fact that you were a boy mom, and I come from
I do have that in my profile.
you
I
do
wear
have that
I
in your profile,
I
yeah.
wear my boy mom hat like a,
That is not where I thought that was going.
like a badge.
No, but that is ultimately what caught my eye about Heather's profile, because there were a number of people at that time I encountered who were marketers, who had more experience than I did, who did love marketing way more than I ever could, who just who they all had the green banner. I'm open to work. I'm ready to work. No one's answering my
Yeah.
phone calls. No one's answering my emails. That kind of stuff. Here comes Heather, radiant smile, several pictures of her sons. Wears that like a badge, because it should be, because that I
Human
think
sunbeam.
human sunbeam, as we know. And I just DM'd her and I was like, hey, looking for advice. Your profile caught my eye because of the aforesaid reasons. And do you I know you're looking too. Is there any way we can help each other? And so um,
Yep. There's
Heather
a lot of that.
was one of
There's a
the,
lot about that on LinkedIn, I feel like, right? Like that's what a lot of people are seeking is to make those kinds of connections with people.
yeah. It's not just like, hey, I'm looking for a job. Help me get a
Right.
job. It is a social media platform, for better
Yeah.
or worse. And so meeting you, Heather, was huge because you saw something in me where you said, even if it doesn't work out for you to marketing, I know you have a place, and
Yeah.
that's stuck with me for the past 3 years. and
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. I'm so glad we met.
Oh, that's 3 years
swear I'm
ago.
not about to cry. I just have to drink water.
Just about. No, seriously. And I'm glad you say this because I mean, LinkedIn is like it is social media platform for professionals. And I think a lot of people talk a lot of shit about LinkedIn and like they like to say how bad it is. And there's definitely some not so great things, right? Like there are
Yeah.
things about LinkedIn that it's gotten worse over the last couple of years. But the one thing that's been the best is like meeting people like you, like having these kinds of opportunities that we would have probably never met because I was just in my world and you were in your world. But like the fact that we were both looking for jobs at the same time, I was actually employed when I was looking. I was just trying to get back into healthcare.
Ah,
Uh,
okay. That's right. That's right.
yeah, yeah. So I was employed. I just yeah. Anyway, and that's what I was doing. But it just like if it can open doors to so many different people if you're willing, to be a little bit more vulnerable and honest and that sort
Absolutely.
of thing. And yeah, and Preston definitely you were one of those people. And we keep joking now too, and I think it was you who said it. You're like young people need old people friends and vice versa because of our age difference. Like I can learn so much from you and you can learn from me. So like even better.
No,
So
I'm 61 then.
what's that?
Because I'm
61?
61. Yeah, I'm 61.
Yeah, we're like, yeah, it is fun though that we got to
Yeah,
meet through
you
LinkedIn.
shouldn't let age restrict your social network in real life. You know what I mean? I have friends.
Yeah.
I just turned
Absolutely.
50. I got friends in their 20s, friends in their 30s, friends in their 40s, friends in their 70s.
We all have something to
You know,
learn
I
from
got
one
I got
another.
friends all through the scope
If you're
of
cool, you're
of
cool,
living
in my opinion.
time. Yeah.
If you're cool,
Like
you're cool.
once you're 27, your brain is done developing. You are who you are.
Oh, is it
And
27?
like
Okay.
I'll ask every 50 plus person out there, how much different are, I mean, you go through changes and your life's different and
Yeah.
you take on different philosophies and ways and things like that. But generally speaking, you're the same person in your 50s as you were in your late 20s. Generally, like foundationally. People change, but they don't change foundationally as far as I've ever seen.
You're probably right about that.
You know,
Mm,
the friends I've had for 30 plus years, when we get together, like we're living different lives and we might, little differences of things here and there, but
yeah.
generally we're the same, like we're the same people,
Yeah.
you know?
But yeah,
Yeah, it's
get
funny
yourself
hanging out with
an old
people you
friend.
knew as in your childhood and like, oh, like the same person I used to play catch with when we were kids, prepubescent boys, as it were. Like, oh wow, one guy is like raising kids. He has like full facial hair. The other guy is driving trucks, still being a dude. Like, but we're all still the same people. I think there's something to be said about that. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
really do.
Like foundational character doesn't really change.
Yeah.
You know, the details do, but the foundation doesn't.
Yeah, but so we got in touch and then you and I started talking pretty regularly.
Yeah,
And
yeah. It's yeah, I look back at that time, that part of my chapter, like, or sorry, that chapter of my journey, like that part of that chapter is what I'm trying to say. It's late, guys. I apologize. Um, I look back at that part very fondly because of your positivity and the fact that, hey, like, no, he can do this. Like, you have the resume, you have the, like, it was a very spotty resume in terms of the amount of time that I had after those roles. Because like my big the big beginning of my career, I was in that position for a little over 3 years, and so thankfully I've been able to hang on to that 3+ year period throughout so many interviews. Because what this is what gets me back to where my story was. I kind of jump around a lot, guys. Sorry.
you're
Um,
you're fine. So do we.
I do
There's
notice
no
that about Healthcare
Oh,
Uprising.
there's no formula here.
our circle is nothing but tangents.
Yeah.
And gentle, and gentle, but legitimately, the the second job search, it began last fall, and I already started looking based on my experiences with management, and human resources. Just to be frank, at that last job, I kind of saw the end coming, and I don't know if I communicated that to you, Heather, at that time, but I remember at least talking to a couple other of my um, um, LinkedIn connections about it. People who had, similar to you, seniority in their careers. They had more ownership. They had. I mean, y'all have families, so y'all have things to that keep y'all going and keep y'all motivated to
Yeah.
work and do well in work. All that to say, I know I'm pontificating here, but um, I started applying around September for roles. I was like, I'm going to do 15 jobs a day. And so after I got laid off, I immediately, like without fail, I immediately went to LinkedIn. I did not do the mistake I made the first time around. And I think it was within the first week, no later than a week of me being laid off. But I told LinkedIn, hey, here's what happened. This last company I was at was Buns. I didn't say it like that, but that's how I felt. I was so angry at that point that I need to not only leave marketing behind, but I need a job where I'm in either healthcare or insurance.
Healthcare.
And
I think too, we had a conversation at one point and I was like, you are made for the healthcare industry. You
you
just have
did say that.
you have
Yeah.
the
Now it's coming back
personality.
to me.
It still is a marketer, or is it
Just in general, I'm
just
like,
in general?
the healthcare industry has some of the best people, in my opinion. They're kind, they're thoughtful, they're loving, and you wouldn't be in that work if you didn't, you know what I mean? Like if there wasn't just something inside of
You
you.
have to actually care to be there.
And you were, yeah, and I just getting to know you over the last couple of years, I was just like, oh my God, Preston needs to be in the healthcare industry. I became like my goal at that point, whether I said it like totally
That's
out
true.
loud, was that I was like, Preston is going to work in the healthcare industry, come hell or high water.
It's
So,
like a Jedi meeting at their Padawan.
yes, I was like, this is happening because that is where you deserve to be. And anyway,
And I think there was a small bit of excitement when Heather found out that I got laid off. Not at my not
I was not happy about that.
no, like like the part where you're like, oh, you're fully like wanting to work in healthcare. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be the person that gets you that job. Like
Let's
you made it.
go.
Let's
Yes,
go.
that's true. That
And
part.
yeah, that's what I
And did
meant.
you?
Not you were happy at my demise and all that jazz,
I,
but
I don't want to break the news, but I'll let Preston get to the end of the story.
Yeah, now I got to hear if she actually got you the job.
yeah. So, oh man, I'm smiling. Okay, so, um, unlike the first time around, though, even though I corrected that error by telling all my network. I told my family as well. It took me longer than 5 months. Let me put it that way. Um, and so what I started doing was I went from applying to 15 jobs a day in healthcare and insurance. Sometimes if I couldn't hit the 15 in either of those industries, I would just find a few marketing jobs and just apply to those just to fill in that quota. But I was like, I need to get my resume out there. I need to get it out there because the threat of AI was ever expanding like a virus. And so I knew, okay, like if I'm gonna make it into healthcare, I can't be in marketing. I need to be an administrative assistant because that's what I did at my first full time grown man job. um, the first 2 years around, like in that 3+ year period, and I was really good at it. I juggled a lot of different accounts. I'm an extrovert, clearly, so I communicate constantly with people. I'm very organized. I keep my outlook looking spiffy, even to this day, which is going to come into play later. So I decided to do some administrative support tactics within my job search. And so the big thing, the big thing that I did, and I kind of wish I still had it. I threw it away once I signed an offer, but it probably wouldn't be good to do it on a YouTube video because there's a number of companies that were written on there. But it was like towards the end of my job search, I counted, it was like 25 pages of um,
I'm picturing it. I totally knew
yellow.
what you were gonna say because I remember seeing you posting some pictures about it.
Yeah, you can actually, if you go back further back in my LinkedIn, you can see the yellow pages I posted of like I wrote
Yeah,
down every single job that I
it was a
applied to
lot.
on X day. Um, I would put check marks on the jobs that would call me back, that would schedule interviews, that kind of thing, and I tailor my resume constantly. Like I talked to connection after connection after connection to get it to where it was a resume that I knew would get interviews. And I am thankful that throughout the 18 months, not 5 months, but 18 months it took me to get a second job, that I got
Which is
interviews all throughout.
bonkers crazy and not
Bonkers.
unusual. Not unusual, Preston, right? Like
Yeah.
which is partially why we're here is to talk about and draw attention to that is like
You have a kind of similar story.
I do. Yeah. Yeah, I did. I went through something similar. I was working, but yeah, like that's a long time. That notebook was real full.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, it was full. I took, I took even more robust pictures, more detailed pictures, and sent them to Heather all throughout my search, just to kind of prove, hey, I am looking. So I wasn't out here just watching TV willy nilly during the day and whatnot.
you were
I was
busting your
working.
butt.
Working to
Um,
find work, yeah.
It's,
It's a
yeah.
job to find a job, man.
and and then there were a
There
couple
you go.
times where there was one company that I was referred to. Um, can you guys still hear me?
You jammed up a little bit for a second there, but you're okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Okay.
Yep. You're back.
There
You're
was one
good.
job. There was one job that a friend of mine referred me to, and I actually landed. Like I had a couple interviews for that one, and I almost like I was so close to getting it.
Ugh, so close.
And this became kind of a, I'm not going to say a common motif in my search, but it became more common than I would have liked it to. There were about 4 or 5 companies who said the same thing, but they said we can't hire you because either we don't think that you'll stay here for long, we don't think you'll be happy for a long time, or you're overqualified for this position. Best luck on the rest of your job search.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
As I'm getting these messages, as my
I
bank
hate the
account is
term
going,
overqualified. I hate
yeah.
it so much.
Yeah.
It
yeah,
shouldn't
yeah.
be a thing. You should be happy that someone with that kind of knowledge wants that job.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
understand the
and I
concept.
aptly communicated multiple times throughout these interview processes. It's like, hey, I want to be here. I'm switching over from this one line of work into this one because I do have experience in this. I am good at this. I believe I'm the right person for this job.
Mm-hmm.
But something that I've learned the hard way, one lesson that I've learned, other like after being transparent about where you're at in your career, whether you have a job or not, is um, if truly if the company doesn't want you, then you wouldn't be happy there to begin with. Because that
Yeah.
was what got me in this situation in the first place. Like the very first job I was laid off from, once my manager was gone, I had no one to vouch for me. That's a scary thing.
Yeah. You're just kind of
Being
left
left,
out there on your own.
yeah, you're literally being left out there like Jack and Titanic, where you're just left to go out.
There's no
And
room for you on that door.
Oh,
well, and
that's
there
why
was
they
room
call
for,
it the glass door.
Oh, well, the
yeah,
door was actually wood in
I was
Titanic.
I was just attempting a callback. Pardon me.
but oh, Glassdoor, Jesus,
There it is.
See?
There's my sense
that's
of humor.
good. That's good. I like that. I had to catch that one. That's dope. But legitimately, sorry, but legitimately,
I
I feel
derailed it.
like
Yeah.
no, you're good. You're good. It was one of those things where I had to realize, okay, this is what I'm up against. Not only am I up against AI, not only am I up against having several gaps in my career,
Mm. And
but
and a flooded market of people, right?
one market of
Not to mention.
people, but like I'm overqualified for the exact positions that I want that
Mhm.
I know I'd be happy
Mm.
in. And that was an ugly feeling. And it got even worse when I started losing. I lost everything in that search. Um, I lost my vehicle. I lost my um, nearly lost my apartment multiple times. Um, it put a wrench. The search became so consuming that um, it put a wrench in several friendships that I had, which you could argue, well, they weren't your real friends to begin with, but that doesn't make it, still doesn't, cushion the pain.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't
had
think
heart.
people realize this, right? Like about going through, I mean, a job search and being out of work and all of the things that you lose. Like people that don't go through it, they don't understand
I
that. They
mean, a
don't,
year and a half without an income. I
yeah.
mean, I'd be homeless in a month
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
if I couldn't make
It's
money, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah. It was it
It took a
the
toll.
hard part now is just thinking about this time and digging deep into myself to even expose these parts of my journey. But I think it's important to say that, when I posted my first GoFundMe in a while, this wasn't the first time in my career search that I posted a GoFundMe, but it was necessary because I had a week to make my rent or I was gone. Like I had no plan. And I don't have the type of family where I can just call someone up and be like, "Hey, can I just like move?" Like there's certain processes that had to be put into place to even go that far, and my family kept telling me, maybe you should leave the city. Maybe it's you can't make it. It's not for you. But I kept fighting through. Like I had the pride that I had that kept me from telling everyone that I was jobless in the first time around. This time, my pride was fueling me to keep applying to more jobs. It kept fueling me to call companies, cold call them, the ones that I knew I applied to. That I would look on my sheets of paper, look through them, and be like, "Hey, I applied 3 days ago, or I applied even 2 weeks ago. I haven't heard back. Let me see what's up." Like I became obsessed with this to the point to where I even investigated how to circumvent job application systems. I literally researched and found that if you like type in the location that you want to work at and then the type of job you want, if you constantly like press like the LinkedIn like new job button, once it refreshes, like you're supposed to apply within the first few minutes. If you miss that few minute window, you're most likely not going to get an interview.
Because
And so
like literally thousands of people will have applied for that job within like an hour or something. It's insane.
exactly. And there were certain jobs that once, like I would wake up at 5 a.m., apply to certain jobs, go get coffee, come back 8 a.m., apply to more jobs. Just I would do
It's
these on like a 2 to 3 hour cycle.
It's
like
like,
trying to get concert tickets.
yeah, it's like all you have
It's
time
literally
to
like trying to buy
do.
concert tickets.
And
Yeah.
sometimes my 15 would have to exceed because I found so many jobs at good companies that were
Mm.
hiring for executive assistant or senior administrative assistant positions that I couldn't pass it up. So sometimes my 15 a day became 30 a day,
Mhm.
and I would work into the wee hours of the night just to type those up. Like
And this is for a year and a half that this went
yeah,
on.
yeah.
And
Well,
just
this was
God, do
this
the
was a little
math
under.
on that.
yeah,
This was 10 months. Like this
that's
recent,
still a
like,
long time.
Still, like
Yeah.
doing that many a day for that long.
Just the
yeah,
emotional toll of like going through, and I can speak to it because I went through it too. Now, I wasn't in a position like you where I was going to lose my home, right? Because I was still
yeah,
employed while I was doing it. But that emotional toll of doing that every single day and not getting a call back, not getting any responses, finally getting an interview, being ghosted, going all the way to finalists. How many times then to be told that you're overqualified? I mean,
yeah.
and then
I
you're
had
at
a number of
and you're
these
at,
calls.
yeah, you're at a point where you've lost your car, you may not even have a place to live anymore. Like there's so many people's lives that have been so negatively impacted by this job market, just like similarly to yours.
That's how
It's
homelessness
heartbreaking.
starts.
It's heartbreaking.
Right.
Exactly how people end up homeless in
Yeah.
this country, and
Yeah.
why so many people are is because they can't get a job.
Right.
Give them
Not
a
not
job.
because they want to be homeless, but
Yeah.
anyhow, so you're like in the thick of it at that point. You're just like, I'm desperate for a job. Like I need to find something.
I'm desperate for a job, and I think what finally turned. Well, not think. I know. Like I'm. This is all pure recollection now, but what finally turned it around for me was when I posted that GoFundMe, and I finally said on LinkedIn, full throttle. I went against everyone, like the advice of everybody. Everyone was like, "Don't do it, Preston. Don't tell people what's happening. jobs are going to look at you crazy. And I was like, fuck that. So,
yeah,
um,
you got to survive.
Yeah.
yeah. So I pretty much said like, hey, here's this, like, you can pay here, pay that if you want to, like, like donations are welcome, that kind of thing. But the point is that if I don't find a job within the next few weeks, if I don't have an offer signed, then I'm gonna be leaving the city. Like, I don't know where I'm gonna go, but it's not gonna be here because I can't live. And man, like, I feel like there was like something that shifted once I finally put that out there. Because, not to say it became less hard after that, but within a month, Heather introduced me to a friend of hers, who I'd rather her remain nameless for now, if you don't mind me
We
saying.
will keep her
But
nameless. Yes, very special woman.
yeah, very special woman, incredible woman. I literally have hugged her several times since meeting her. But yeah, so I met her, and the day we were going to talk on the webcam one on one, because I was just going to ask her for some healthcare advice.
Mhm.
Um, I get an opening in on my LinkedIn job alerts that's her company. They're hiring for the exact position that I want and that I'm qualified for.
Because
So I
there
was like,
wasn't
hey,
anything posted, right? When
no,
I connected
no,
you with
like,
her, there wasn't an actual job for
yeah,
that he was applying for. It
there
was
wasn't a
just,
job for it. And she
you
said
need to
she
meet
said in
her.
that message, like, hey, I'm not seeing any jobs, but if you do know of
Yeah.
anything, please let me know. And then I went ahead and just said, hey, like, let's just connect, let's just meet each other, just so you can put a name to a face, vice versa. And then the day we were going to connect, I was off work because I was working part time, like, Jesus, like 2 days a week, 2 or 3 days a week at a restaurant.
Oh yeah.
And like, literally to the point to where, like, the shoes that I wear all the time now, since I'm standing up, like, they have holes in them, they have, like, the soles are falling out. I can't afford new shoes because I'm on a very strict budget, a GoFundMe budget at that, and the two little dollars I make at this job. So yeah, that became a part of my LinkedIn content, was like, yeah, like, the longer I do this job search, the more the soles of my shoes are literally coming apart.
Hmm.
So so I meet with this person. She refers me to this job at my request. I do so, and then we spend that entire call that day talking about what the company is, um, what who can I talk to try and get an interview. She was like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I can give you like 4 or 5 recruiters. And I was like, okay, bet. So within like 30 minutes, like, I had like a draft email message, like, that I had saved on my laptop, that I sent to other recruiters. I used that, copy pasted, boom, 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 sent all these, like, it was a handful of recruiters on LinkedIn. Two answered, and then
Which
within
is
a
amazing, by the way, for a recruiter to even answer an email. Like, no, no,
Yeah,
like no
after all
cold
that time and
calls.
all those applications, all of a sudden two people
so
hit you up right
Yeah.
right back.
I
So
think
good.
another thing too is that I can put this company out there because I didn't get a job with them, but like, I was, at the time, I had just gotten rejected by Toyota. And a tidbit that one person in talent acquisition shared with me, and but I don't think she knew, I don't think anyone really knew I was going to go crazy with it, was that she was like, hey, when you're talking to recruiters online, let them know what's happening. Let them know that, hey, like, I've been searching for work for X amount of months or X amount of time, and no one's talking to me. Please talk to me, basically. It basically says, please talk to me, without actually begging for it.
Mhm.
So I that was in my draft, like, and that kind of changed the course of how I spoke to talent acquisition online. So, and keep in mind, my resume was with temp agencies, like, I did all that stuff. And granted, out of those temp agencies, only a couple still talk to me to this day, of people
Mm.
who actually tried to move the needle and help me out. So temp agencies, y'all need to do better. But that's another conversation for another day.
PSA.
PSA. But alas, I So I got rejected again for not a job that this person referred me to, Heather's friend, but it was a job that it was an office manager position. I got so close. I got so close, and they told me the day of that I got a phone call saying that I was overqualified. So I tried calling that number back because it was a voicemail. Called it back. I called it back like 3 or 4 times. That same within an hour, got nothing back. So I'm sitting down. I go to this coffee shop that's in walking distance. I sit down, tell the owner the story. He knows I'm jobless or whatever, but I get a phone call out of nowhere. And it was a guy that I used to work with at my very first job. And so he goes, "Hey, Preston, there's an executive assistant position at blah, 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 blah." And I was like, "Wait a minute. That's the company that Heather's friend works at that I got referred to." And he goes, "Are you interested in that job?" And I was like, "Yeah, I actually applied to it." He was like, "Oh, okay. So my wife actually knows the person who's hiring for that position. Do you want me to tell her to put in a good word for you?" She was like, "Yeah." So she did that. Then I remembered that a good friend of mine who similar to Heather, I see her as another mentor. She has a spouse who works for the same company. So she got him to refer me internally. And so I got referred to that job twice after talking to 2 recruiters, after hearing all the ins and outs from Heather's friend on how to navigate the interview process. Within a week after talking to Heather's friend and applying to that job, I got my first interview at this company. Had another interview, this time with 2 people. Then I had another interview, this time with 2 people. Then I got called in person. And these interviews were like once a week. So I'd say towards the end of that month, it was like the 9th month of my job search. 9 months, Jesus.
That's like how long it takes to make a baby.
It only takes a minute to make a baby.
That is the human gestation period. Stuff way.
I like him.
Feels appropriate.
It's late. But
these bonus episodes are fun.
They are fun.
Healthcare Uprising After Dark. No,
that's right.
Legitimately, my last interview, I can't make this up. It was 5 hours long. I was so stressed out. And the thing is, I had to find a way to just get through all 5 hours. And so I brought a water bottle with me, kept chugging it in between each session. Because I met like 6 people that day. Yeah, I met like 6 people that day.
Damn.
And the last person works directly for the CEO of the company, like just works directly for this gentleman. And so she ultimately asked me, like, what is it about this job that you're leaving marketing for? Like, why? And I was like, I want to help people. I believe that I was put on this earth to help others. I want to be in a customer service style position where I get to do that in the healthcare spectrum, and know that although I'm most likely hardly ever going to see any reward for my work, but know that the work that I'm doing is going to have direct impact on people in this country who need their physical and mental health to be stabilized. And within a day, the expected date was, I was supposed to hear back a final offer, was actually supposed to be like a week. And then I ended up hearing back within less than a day. It was that morning. They texted me on my way to work. They were like, "Hey, do you have time to talk on the phone?" I was like, "Sure." So one of those LinkedIn recruiters that I originally spoke with, she told me that between 2 people that I was the favorite of everyone. It was a unanimous vote. She explained the salary to me. I agreed to it. It was way more than I've ever made in my career up until this point. Thankful for that. And by the end of that day, I signed my papers, and I was able to walk into work that day with my broken down shoes and be like, "Hey,
I got a job."
I got a job." And me and the manager of that location, it's a chain I worked at that location, we hugged it out for a while. he was like, man, like you make this place so much better. I know you're going to kill it at this job. More people need your positivity. I'm not making this up, y'all. This is what I've been told.
It is true. No, and the universe works in mysterious ways. I mean,
And
think
you
about
got
this.
me a job.
Well, think about it, right? And I think this is the message, right? Like this is the moral of the story, kiddies, is that don't ever hesitate on doing something for somebody because you never know what the domino effect is that's going to be because you could have maybe gotten you may have never heard about that company had I never even introduced you to my friend and then met with her and then kind of all the,
I agree.
everything kind of just like fell into place in such a magical way. And there was no job there when I first introduced you to her. And then you ended up getting the job
Actually
offer.
working with her. That's funny.
And so, like, don't ever hesitate to help somebody out. It doesn't matter. Like, you just never know
And
because this is a perfect example
and
of
you
that.
got to be open to talking to people and putting yourself out there and meeting
Yeah.
people because in the end, the other moral to that story is one we've heard many times before, all of us, it's all who you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because
The
it
fact that Heather
wasn't
and I met,
it it wasn't the
not in that
random. You put all
yeah, we
those
met.
resumes, 15 jobs a day for months and months and months, just putting out a resume and nothing happened. It was when you started talking in real life with real people that something happened.
Yeah.
It's the only way to
Yeah.
actually make anything happen is in real life with real people.
Yeah. LinkedIn's good for that too. It's
Yeah.
there if you want it. So, yeah.
It's there if you want it, and you have to sift through a lot of catacombs, a
Bullshit.
lot of webs, because it's an unregulated app,
Right.
and
Yeah. There's a lot of,
which
there's a lot of not good stuff out there too. So, but
which
yeah.
to be fair, I'd rather at this point I'd rather have unregulated social media than regulated, but that's
Oh
another
yeah.
topic that's
Yeah.
a little more politicized. But the point the point I wanted to make, and Heather, I think you said that very well, is that you and I met when I was laid off the first time around,
hmm
and I never thought that not only would I be in your industry that you love and care about later on in my career, because I thought marketing was it. I thought, why is this not working? Why am I having such a hard time making this work? And why are these managers like this? Like, and that kind of thing. But you told me, you said, like, I think you do really well in healthcare. That was inspiring to me, but also the fact that, look, in retrospect, we met at that point in my life where I never thought the next job I got, I would have to up and go to another job.
hmm
And on top of that, I never thought that you'd be the one to push the series of dominoes to get me where I am now. And I've been at this job for nearly 4 months. I'm going to be flying to a couple of cities next year already. That's already being planned for the next fiscal year, and I'm being further integrated into the work that the executives I support are doing, and it's all healthcare related. It's all
Yeah.
people focused. It's
You
very
landed in the
intrinsic,
right spot. Yeah.
and the actual job duties itself, it comes more naturally to me than having to put together a shitty marketing plan that I just don't
You're
that I
you're
just don't
you're
care.
you're where you're supposed to be.
So
Yeah.
you're on more the customer service side now? Is that where
I'm
you are?
I'm an administrative assistant, so it's not
Administrative
like
assistant.
yeah.
So
So I'm
totally not marketing though. Like
yeah, no, God
yeah.
no. I never no offense. I never
Well,
want to do
there's
marketing.
Offense taken.
well, there's a lot of there's so many lessons in this story. I'm actually really glad you came on because we just talked about a few, and now you have the don't be afraid to make that shift and try new things. If
hmm
what you're trying isn't working and isn't working and isn't working, open yourself up to, hey, maybe I should try a different angle. Maybe I should try something else. Go do a different direction.
Yeah.
And th- like there's even a couple more lessons in here I'm sure I'm
I
missing.
think there's a few lessons
There's
in
a lot
here.
going on in here.
Yeah.
The tenacity part, like you were on the edge, man. Like a lot of people would have just ended up on the street in
Yeah.
a situation you
You
were in.
lost a lot and now you're making your comeback and slowly but surely, right? Like, how are you feeling
Yeah,
about things? You're feeling good, right?
I feel good. Um I was able to finally close one of the loans I opened to help stay afloat.
Yeah,
In
that's got
my
to be a good feeling.
it was a really good feeling to get that email and be like, hey, this account's closed. That felt so good. And
And
just knowing that I'm working towards just getting back a number of the things that I've lost, but not just the material stuff, but more so just what's in here. And I think, at the beginning of my story, I mentioned I gained weight, I was stressed out, stress eating. I was drinking a lot more on top of that. I don't drink as much anymore. Which, like, you would think someone as young as I am, I would worry less about that stuff. But, it's one of those things where I want to get back. How can I put this? No, that's the wrong way to put it. I was going to say I want to get back what I lost in here, but ultimately, I feel like when you keep your tenacity going, when you keep your strength going, when you don't give up, you don't lose, you gain. And what you lose in material possessions will come back to you in wisdom and experience. And
Yeah, you've been
being
through a
able to
lot.
deliver it on a platform like this
Yeah.
is I think my biggest hope is that hopefully it gets some listener out there thinking just about, hey, if I'm unhappy in this job, in this friendship, in this marriage, in this relationship, I can be honest about how I feel and then work on that. It doesn't have to be telling someone off. It doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to end in tears and rage and all that kind of stuff. But it can, that big feeling that we get in our stomachs can be put into constructiveness. And it felt so good. It felt so good throwing away that notebook of 14 plus
Did you
pages.
burn it?
that.
I thought about it, but I put it through a shredder at work.
Oh, you shredded it. Okay, that's fair.
Once I saw in the copy room, one of the copy rooms, that there was like a place to shred papers, I just put it through there, and it felt
That
so
must have
good.
been cathartic. I mean, anyone who's been through like an extensive job search that just mentally just crushes you, right? Like it can kill your spirit,
Yeah.
it kills your ego, it kills your confidence. Um, there's all
It,
that I'm
it
not
kills a
good enough
lot, and
stuff.
also,
Shred that mother effer.
well, and I couldn't, because I do believe in the crazy superstition of certain things have energy. If you keep them
Oh
past
yeah.
their their expiration date, there was a lot of bad mojo on that
Yeah.
notebook. It didn't feel
Yeah.
right to just keep it for me.
Yeah, I
Um,
think you're right about that.
Yeah. Feel
Yep.
that.
and so I had
That
to
juice
just
you.
let go. I had to let go and let live. And
Yeah.
um,
There's nothing but tension in that notebook. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
you've made
so
it a long way and
that's
you're still standing tall. You got a job at a pretty awesome company.
yeah, yeah,
You got
You're
the right
built that.
job. That's the thing too. Because
yeah. It's
that's a
different than having a job. It's
yeah.
the one that's a good fit for me, and this is the best fit for me in a probably ever.
Yeah.
It's one of
That
the
I could
big
have.
problems in this country is most people don't like what they do,
Yeah.
and it makes their whole life miserable. It makes the
Yeah,
lives of the people around them miserable because they have to get up every day and go do something they don't want to do. It's we got to start
yeah.
being more open to allowing
To make
people to
ends
follow their own path too.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get you here, but um 4 months, right? You said you celebrated 4 months in the new
Yeah,
gig.
well, it's 3.5 right now, but it's about to be 4
Cool.
in a few
Cool.
weeks. Celebrating my birthday recently,
Oh,
actually this
nice.
past weekend.
A late happy
Happy birthday.
birthday.
Thank you. But I didn't know, how can I put this? There came a point last year where I didn't know if I will make it to this age
Hmm.
because
I've
everything
had a
kept
lot of those
turning.
moments.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
rough.
no, it was bad. I mean, I was there was a point where I went to the ER based on a phone call I made that the police intercepted. Like that, like stuff like that happens.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, I feel like I've shared the big things. If people really want to know the details, they can find me on LinkedIn if they're
Yeah.
listening to
We'll put
this.
it in the show notes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
connect with Preston. And I think, we need that, right? Like all of us that have been through some, some version of this job search. And it because a job search that takes 18 months or you get laid off multiple times, even what I went through, it's my
Yeah.
version. I mean, it just sucks the life out of you. It crushes you. It changes the way that you look at the world. I mean, it changes the way that you look at yourself. Um, I was a wreck. I mean, I was definitely in a really bad place for a long time, and um, we all have some really terrible chapters. And I hate that it's a job search that did that, right? Like that just it shouldn't be like that, you know?
Yeah.
And I'd never seen anything like it in all the years and that I have been, you know, in the
I
job
think
market. So,
Last
one
time
of the big sorry.
I
I
was
was
just
I
gonna
was just
say, last time I waited for a paycheck, had a job where I was waiting for a paycheck. I realized I was drinking a six pack every night by the end of it,
wow.
and realized how miserable it was making me. So I quit, and I haven't had a boss in 15 years. I've been a contractor and full on self employed in different capacities, all kinds of different capacities. And I'm never going to be able to afford to retire. I have no stress.
yeah,
I have no money, but I also have no stress. And
the
That's
pros and
I
cons.
can follow my own flow. I make my own schedule every day. The reason I can do this podcast is because when Heather says we have an interview on this day at this time, I can just say, okay,
I can be
I
there.
can be there. I know I can be there because no one can tell
yeah.
me different.
That's huge because like I mean my mother I guess my actual Heather Pierce who's also a boy mom of two, myself included, of course. She she taught me at a young age, that you have to make a sacrifice, and I think sacrificing the 9 to 5 life, that's a sure thing for most people. If you're unhappy doing that, do something else. Like you're still contributing to society, you're still working, you're still
Yeah.
but you're doing what you like to do as opposed to going the expected route to I mean really, I mean the expected route is more for optics than anything, and that includes work, that includes marriage, that includes kids. I mean that includes a lot of stuff, and not to slight people who do have most if not all of those things. I think it's a blessing if you do have that stuff, and we need great people to continue to make great people. But I
Yeah.
think there's
Yeah.
there's forms of productive work energy that can be metastasized in different forms of work. So
Yeah.
yeah,
The same path
I'm
is, not or one path isn't the what everyone should take, right? Like we should all kind of figure out where we're supposed to go and be.
we all
So,
have a
I, be,
destiny.
yeah.
I quit real jobs. I became a taxi driver, and I've been so much more a part of my community than I ever would have otherwise been.
Yeah.
I know everyone in Flagstaff because I've been driving them all around for the last 15 years.
And some people do need the 9 to 5, right? Or like think about it as like a nurse, right? You're going to
Yeah,
work some pretty specific hours, but like there are special people that need to be nurses, right? Like that's what they are made and born to do. And yeah, so you just have to open your heart and your mind to the possibilities and find where you're supposed to be. So,
absolutely, absolutely. I come from a blue collar family. I mean, my father was a barber for many years. So I mean, I feel like I've gotten um the salt of the earth, um, not quite farmer level background behind me, but pretty as close as you could be, along with this more urban experience that I'm currently undergoing. So who knows where that's going to lead me in the future? But I do know that without you, Heather, I would not have been able to get to this point, to have this door
yay.
open.
I can't raise my
Um,
arm very well, but yay. My
um,
Frankenstein art. No,
You're like a mummy.
I am so happy to be a part of your journey and that our lives crossed and I don't know, I get to cheer you on from the sidelines over here and see you find your success and I'm just glad like when I was like he's got to be in healthcare like and you're in it now. So,
It's awesome.
yeah. We welcome you with open arms.
Thanks for joining us on the Healthcare Uprising. Make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons before you go, and take a moment to think of a friend and hit that share button. You can find us on all the major audio platforms, and we've got video on YouTube and Patreon, patreon.com/healthcareuprising, if you want to watch us in action.
You can also find us on social media on LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search Healthcare Uprising to find us. And if you're a new company or a creator with a cool new product for the healthcare space, or if you're someone with a personal healthcare journey and you'd like to share it with us here at the Uprising, please email us at healthcareuprising@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you about coming on the show. That's all for this dose of Healthcare Uprising. Till the next time, keep looking for the good in the world, because sometimes it's where you least expect it.
This has been a Shut Up production.